YouTube. What's going on? Hey, today we have a very special guest all the way up in North Texas, TNT Ghost Hunters, Mr. Cruz. How you doing today, brother?
I am doing well. How are you doing today, sir? Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Hey, a paranormal investigator is welcome here anytime. Okay, Mr. Tim Cruz, tell the world where you're from, brother.
All right. I am actually from Cleveland, Ohio. Lived there most of my life, and then just came to Texas here at the beginning of the year in January.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
we started TNT Ghost Hunters. Me and my friend. She's actually a medium. Her name is Tanya. We started. We've been investigating for probably about 4 or 5 years now. She's still in Ohio, and I'm out here in Texas with my brother. So we still have the team together, just in different states.
Okay. How is that working out for you?
It's working out pretty well. We've done a few here. And we did a lot back in Ohio before I left and everything. So there's a ton of content that I still got to go through. I got to update all my pages. I mean, there's just a ton of video and audio and EVPs and everything.
Wow. So have you able to get a team together here just besides you yourself?
It's me and my brother, and then I do have a coworker that is interested as well. And me and her name is Carrie. We actually went out to the Lost Cemetery of Infants in Arlington twice. So that was kind of neat to do that as well. And we actually just came back from Broken Bow, Oklahoma. We went to the Broken Bow Asylum as well a couple weeks ago.
I hear a lot about that place. There's a lot of investigators that are shooting up there to investigate it. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
About that location?
Yes.
Yeah, it is kind of creepy. I could tell you that. They actually use it for a haunted house as well. So there's definitely a lot of different Halloween props and different things as you go through. So you got to make sure that you go through it ahead of time and know where things are, so you're not just freaking yourself out with like skeletons and different things going on from the Halloween props.
Wow. Okay. How far is that away from you? I mean, what town is that place is actually in?
That one was about 3.5 hours from us.
Ooh, 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it was definitely a drive.
Oh, I can imagine, dude. And you did most of the driving?
I did all the driving. Yeah, I did it there and back.
Okay. Hey, now that place, that's just like an asylum, right? An insane asylum or something?
I apologize. You were breaking up.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me a little bit about that place.
I mean, it's pretty dark, pretty creepy. They got it's kind of like a U shape. So you have the center, and then it goes off, and then you have it's like a U shape. You have 2 halls that you can go down, and actually one hall is blocked up. I think they're doing renovations on that side. But on the main side, you just have this long hallway, and then they actually have still a maze for the haunted house. So we were actually going through the maze and trying to communicate and get different things going on through there. So, okay. And I did bring my dog, and my dog during this one spot, he kept trying to jump up on me, and my K2 meter was going off as well. And it was kind of by the entrance, by the lobby area. So he was sensing something as well, just in that area.
Right. Well, dogs are very well in tune, man.
They are.
They are. If I had a dog, I think my dog would probably go on an investigating with me probably every time I would go out. You know, that's for them. The way they sense things, the way they see things. It's.
Yeah.
I just wish I had that extra senses that they have. Man, I think I would be a great investigator. You know. Okay, cool, dude. So where else have you been besides Oklahoma?
Well, here in Texas, and then back in Ohio, we've been out to Mansfield Prison, where they filmed Shawshank Redemption, Air Force One, where Lil Wayne shot one of his videos. That's a great place to investigate. Also in Ohio, the ones I'm going to list are the ones in Ohio. So Mansfield Prison, Madison Seminary, Fairfield Informatory, and Landall's Mohican Castle, which it used to be a castle and they turned it into a hotel.
Wow.
That's an amazing place. And my favorite place is Madison Seminary. The staff there is great and we get a lot of activity there. That's one of my favorite places to investigate.
Okay. How would you say Ohio is on the creepy list? I mean, on the haunted list. I mean, what can you give Ohio a number on?
Well, I looked at some stats, and actually Ohio is number 3rd. Texas is number 1 for supernatural sightings or spirit sightings. So Ohio is 3rd, and I could definitely attest to that. Just in the areas that we went, definitely got some good stuff.
Okay, cool, dude. I mean, it seems like Ohio is the place to be.
Yeah, I haven't. Like I said, I've only been in Texas for 4 months, so I haven't ventured out that much. But for the 4 or 5 years that I've been doing this, it's been mainly in Ohio. So that's why I have so much intel on that, I guess.
Right. So how do you like Texas so far? Besides the heat?
It's okay. I'm experiencing the first Texas summer, so it's definitely different from Ohio, where Ohio has 4 seasons in one day, and you guys just have hot.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the way it is, you know. But we're all, I mean, not just besides heat, we love our football. I don't know if are you a Brown fan? Do you like the Cleveland Browns?
I'm not. I'm actually a Las Vegas Raiders fan ever since I was a kid.
Oh, you like the Dogs, huh?
I like the Raiders.
Right, ain't nothing wrong with that, dude. You know, if Carr get his head out of his ass, y'all might do something. You know what I mean?
Hey, now he's got his college buddy now, so hopefully they'll be able to do something together.
Well, I hope so, man, because I think they got a decent team, man.
They do.
But you know, playing my Broncos, man, I just don't know how you guys can do that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, hey, let's get this party started, bro. You know, yes. I know that you just moved to Texas, and you know, and one thing about Texas is we're very rich on history. No matter where you go, no matter what part of the state you go to, there's always history. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can step outside your house and there's history right there. You know, that's how rich it really is. You know what I'm saying? From, you know, battles of long forgotten wars, you know, to things that people can't even speak about. All that's happened in Texas. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty rich in history. We are very proud of our state, you know, our paranormal and what, you know, things that are going on here, you know, like in West Texas, we got the Mark Lights. South Texas, we got Missions. West Texas, we got some of the most haunted cemeteries you could possibly, you know, walk in. In West Texas, I mean, in North Texas, man, there's been so many cowboy western shootouts, man. Just about any old building, somebody's been shot in. So it's pretty rich.
Yeah.
Uh, but when you guys go out, what exactly are y'all working with? I mean, is it you guys have cameras, K2? Some people just use their own little, phone here. They talk to me, man. What exactly are you guys working with?
Actually in the background right here, I do got a couple of K2s going, just in case some of my spare friends want to chime in. You may see it light up in the background there. Definitely work with the K2s. I do have that's one way of communication that I use actually with one of my spirit guides. I also use a pendulum as a communication, dowsing rods as communication as well. So I have those three aspects. Also, I do use a spirit box app on my phone that has actually been really accurate and actually has given us info before we even get to the location, which is really weird. We have it running while we're in the car going to a location, and they give us hidden information about the location before we get there. So we use that. I do also have an SB7 spirit box as well. We use video cameras. We use voice recorders to catch EVPs as well. We also use cat balls to try to get spirits to light them up for us. And we also have these little closet lights that are censored. So if something goes by it, the lights go off. So basically, I think that is all the equipment that we use as of right now.
Wow, it seems like you got a plethora of equipment you guys work with.
Oh, yeah.
Now, are you the one that's in control of all that? You got to make sure all that's charged up and everything?
I do, yes. Yep, I definitely got to charge them up and a few nights before to make sure all the batteries are working fine because, as you know, the spirits definitely take the energy. So you want to have all your batteries charged up and ready to go.
Right.
But yeah, I take responsibility for all that equipment.
What made you get into the paranormal? Did you have something going on when you're in your childhood, or it's just something that you always wanted to do?
It wasn't anything in my childhood that I could remember. It was more recent. I'm more of an intuitive where I can sense them around me. Okay. And that's kind of where I met my team member, Tanya. We kind of got together and at the time, and maybe as of right now as well, if I went up to somebody and said, hey, yeah, I can feel spirits around me, they're going to be like, okay, we're going to check you into this hospital real quick. But finding that person that you can communicate and relate to, that kind of clicked, and we started doing more investigations and everything, and we were comfortable talking to each other about different things that we've experienced and things like that, and we kind of bounced ideas off of each other. What does this mean? What could this mean? Things like that, and we kind of built that team, and it kind of grew from there, where we just started looking for different locations to investigate, and it just blossom from there, and I'm looking to just make it go further.
Cool. Hey, tell me some of the locations you've been to here in Texas or around Fort Worth. I mean, you'll be able to go and check out.
Well, one of them is, like I said, the Lost Cemetery of Infants. We went twice to in the Arlington area. Around Fort Worth, unfortunately, I haven't been anywhere. I'm still looking for places to go around the Fort Worth area. On the 28th of this month, we're actually going to, I believe it's Minola, outside of Mineral Wells.
Okay.
And there is a spot out there that we're going to investigate. It's called the O.P. Piles House. And it is believed to sit on a over 600 cemetery. It's a cemetery with 600, I guess, spirits or bodies there. So we're going to investigate that as well.
Now, is this a mass grave or is it individual grave?
It's a mass grave.
Wow.
So we're going to investigate that and see what we can come up with. This one is actually a public hunt. So that one's going to be about 6 hours that we're going to do.
6 hours, dude. Wow. I don't know if I can stay up that long. Oh, wow. That is 6 hours.
You definitely got to get enough sleep either the time before or the night before.
Right. Hey, are you planning on adding new members to your team? I mean, in Texas here?
Yes, we are actually looking for new members to do investigations with us, whether experienced or semi-experienced, just so that we can get that solid team that knows how to act on hunts and investigations. Not saying that we wouldn't look at inexperienced. We would definitely look at inexperienced investigators that kind of want to get a feel and have an interest in it. But then, of course, it's kind of like a job. If it doesn't fit, then it doesn't fit. But there's certain aspects and there's a respect level that you have to have when you go into these investigations with your team, with the spirits, and with the venues or the spots that you go to investigate. So we need people on our team that have that respect, that have that, I guess, common sense and everything to join us on investigations.
Okay. How successful are you in finding people? Have people reached out to you?
Not yet. Like I said, it's just been me, my brother, and actually the coworker. We've been going on investigations. I've joined a couple of paranormal Texas groups and whatnot, but I haven't really advertised it. I was kind of getting a feel of Texas before I kind of try to reach out to people and just try to get a feel of where the areas are.
Okay, I feel you on that. Tell me your most memorable paranormal experience.
Just one.
The one you think about that actually keep you up at night.
Well, all right. So it was one in Ohio. It was at Landall's Mohican Castle. Great place. And this is actually one of the ones where our spirit box on the way there kind of gave us a heads up on things.
Okay.
So through the spirit box, I went, my team member Tanya, and then I actually took my daughter. She went, I think this was either her first or second investigation that she went with me on. And we were driving in the car, and the spirit box, Tanya and my daughter heard this dog barking. And I've never heard an animal through the spirit box. Never. And wow. I was like, a dog barking? They're like, yeah, listen. As I listened closely, I actually heard growling. And they heard barking. So it was really weird to me. And so when we got there, there's actually a cemetery on property as well with this hotel. And when we were doing a little tour, there was the tour guide was by the cemetery, and me and my daughter heard this growling to the right of us. And we both look at each other. Nobody else heard this. We heard this growling, and we didn't say anything. We just looked at each other and we knew what we were thinking. So then later on in the tour, the lady brought up that people had been hearing a dog growling and growling noises on the premises. And we had no idea, but the spirit box in the car was letting us know. But that's actually not the most memorable. That I was just giving you the example of the spirit box giving us a heads up. But it was at Landall's. There was a tower there. And all three of us were at the bottom, and it was just a straight tower. Nobody else can get in or out. It was just straight up and down. There's no furniture or anything in the tower. So we were all at the bottom, and all of a sudden we heard keys jingling. We were all standing next to each other. None of us had keys. You can hear it clear as day, keys jingling. And we're like, okay. And then we heard footsteps go up the stairs. We were at the bottom level. There's probably about maybe 4 or 5 levels going up.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, okay, maybe the spirit wants us to follow him all the way up. If you go all the way up the tower, there is a circular spot where if you look down, you can see the stairs. So all of us went all the way up to the top, and we took 3 different points at the circle. So we were not close to each other, so we were pretty far apart. And so we caught this on tape, and we were talking, we think it was kind of like the watchman of the area, because the top had windows all around. And so we were filming it, and all of a sudden I felt something come through me. It was from back to front. I've never felt anything like this before. And at this point, I started getting emotional. My eyes started tearing out of nowhere. And so then I looked at my daughter. My daughter's like, Dad, stop. And I couldn't do anything about it, but the energy wasn't trying to take over me. It just passed through me. And I don't know if it was trying to let me know how it felt, and maybe some kind of pain that it was going through. But it went through me. And then the next day I went to sleep, and I got woken up by this dark face just staring right at me. I opened my eyes, and it was just staring right at me. And then when I blinked, it was gone. And that is probably the most memorable that I can always remember, because I've never felt anything like that.
Wow. I'll tell you what, if I wake up and see anybody standing over me, man, they'll probably catch an overhand right or something, you know. I mean, 'cause I'm not. That's really creepy, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, it was so quick that I didn't even have time to react. I was just stunned. I was in shock.
Now, it's okay. Interesting. Now, what is your goal as a I mean, I've heard different stories. Different paranormal investigators have different goals on what they're trying to achieve as being a paranormal investigator. What is yours? What do you want to accomplish with TNT Ghost Hunters?
First and foremost, I want to build a solid team that, like I said, is respectful and can do these investigations. And another top one would be to just receive that information that these energies are out there. That to all these naysayers that are like, oh no, it's a bug, it's a dust, it's whatever, blah, blah, blah. I want to prove to these people that there are these energies out there that are trying to communicate with us, and they have a voice too. They want their stories told for some reason or another, and they're here with us for a reason. So I want to build that relationship. And actually, I did build a relationship back in Ohio at Madison Seminary with one guy. He actually hung himself in the bathroom of this area. And the first time that we went, he actually threatened us, me and my partner, Tanya. He threatened us and he said, I'll kill you. Leave now. Get out. And then we went back our last time in December, and we went back multiple times. And that's how you build a rapport. If you go one time, you're not going to build a rapport with these guys. They're not going to remember you. But if you build a rapport with these spirits and this energy, he actually, on our last time, he actually made me feel what he was going through, and he actually was communicating with us. And that's progress right there. If I can go into a place the first time and get threatened, and then the last time that I'm there, I get your story, you're comfortable with me enough, and you're telling me what's been going on with you and why you did what you did, and you're welcoming me back into your home, and that's a comfort right there.
Okay,
So
cool.
just building that rapport and that just getting that evidence to say, hey, this stuff is real, to all you naysayers. And everybody has the ability to communicate and to get the senses to communicate with these spirits, but a lot of people don't believe in it. And so I want the ultimate goal to bring that evidence out and to give these spirits a chance to tell their story.
Right. I'm definitely with you on there. I'm definitely with you on that because no matter if you're dead or alive, there's always a story to tell or somebody to hear a story. I mean, these guys here, man, they are definitely, especially the ones that's been long gone and just want to know, you know, they just want somebody to tell their story to, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Like one day I was in a cemetery, Assumption Cemetery, out in South Austin, and I'm just walking around, with my ghost tube and just trying to use some devices. But I came across an individual who said she was killed because she mentioned the word killed, and I'm like, well, who killed you? And she said the doctor. And I'm like, whoa. I mean, it kind of freaked me out because it was clearly a response to the doctor. And I felt sorry for her. And I'm like, well, I apologize that happened to you. If there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. The conversation went on for like a good 30 seconds or so. Until I was walking around the corner, and I guess she quit following me or whatever. But
yeah,
actually, but you're right, dude. Everybody has a story to tell. No ifs and buts about it, man. And you'd be surprised on some of these stories. Some of these stories are weird, but some of these stories are truthful. Some people want to know. I mean, some people actually, if somebody got murdered, they want to tell somebody who murdered them.
Yeah, very true. Yes.
So only the person that got murdered know who murdered them, because they're interacting with whatever happened and all that. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. It seems like it seems like you know what you're doing, bro. Now, where do you prefer? Because a lot of people like to go to, most people feel like, home investigations are where they should be. Abandoned buildings and things like that. There's a lot here in Texas, that are places that are abandoned. You might want to go and investigate, but trust me, there's a cemetery just about on every corner around here. Do you feel like you have a calling for listening to people and having and having their story told, hanging out in cemeteries?
I'm not sure about cemeteries, but different places that have that history, because I always like to do my research on the area before I go there, so I know what is going on. Cemeteries, well, the cemetery that I did do, we did get a good EVP on there, but I haven't listened through all of that. But I would say more of like venues or buildings. I have not done any residential areas, which I would like to do. If anybody has like anything going on at their residence, I'd like to investigate those as well. That would be really neat to me. But when I look at places, I look to see if there is what kind of history it has.
Right.
So of course, cemeteries, there's tons of history. You got a plethora of history, but to try to narrow down, like, okay, this person did this, so I'm going to just concentrate on this. But you have so much going on in a cemetery. You have spirits coming through there. You have spirits staying there. So you may get a whole bunch of communication, or you may get. We went to a cemetery at that Landall's Mohican Castle, and me and my partner, we were trying to communicate, and we just felt the energy circle around us, pretty much like we weren't welcome. So we kept trying, and it was just a tense and heavy feeling that, I mean, in cemeteries, you may not be welcome there. And spirits may not want to talk to you, or may not want you there. So that's how we felt. And that was actually our last spot that we investigated in the area. And we were like, okay, we're going to leave. We don't feel comfortable right now. But I would say, going back to your question, I would have to say either residential. I'd like to try that, or like actually buildings that I know that has a history.
I know. I did my first. No, I'll take it back. I did my third residential a couple of weeks ago in Bastrop, Texas, and I can tell you, it is something different about a residential. I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe because everything is so confined, everything's close together, but it was, Tim. I mean, it's something that I can't put my finger on it. We got a lot of good communications with whatever's there, a lot of evidence, but it's just something about a residential is I don't know. It just gave me that creeped out, weird out vibe. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, because it seemed like the entity was going from one room to another room. It seemed like it was trying to avoid us at all, at all costs. But
yeah.
And it was really weird, man. And it seemed like and when I gave the owner or the person that was living there the evidence on what we had found, I mean, it seemed like she was kind of relieved that we actually found out she actually did have something there. But me having that first experience of doing that, dude, I don't know, man. It's just something about doing a house compared to doing a haunted battleground, or doing an abandoned nursing home. Because it was just weird, Tim. I kid you not, bro. I just had that weird factor. That weird feeling. Maybe because it was my first time and I really didn't know what to expect out of it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I really enjoyed it, but by me doing that, it kind of took me out of my element on what I was used to doing, and so I kind of had to tweak some things, and going into that investigation, and I really didn't have anybody to, hey man, I've never done this before. Can you give me, the heads up on what to do, what not to do? So I kind of had to learn this on my own.
Yeah.
And it kind of creeped me out, man. But the good thing about it, we did have her out in which we did validate. We're not into the whole getting rid of the spirit, because I think that's a little bit above our rate. So, but we did validate exactly what what she wanted to hear, and I was glad to help her out, but I just wasn't prepared on what on that place. It was pretty cool, and it didn't help that we had somebody upstairs who was into tarot cards and some other weird stuff, you know. But the goal was to go to each, because he lived in the fourplex. The goal was to go knock on each door and ask, did they have any, just anything going on. But three of them didn't want to answer their door. I think they had an idea on why we were there.
Oh, gotcha.
Anybody that comes in with like 3 or 4 luggages, and just a ton of equipment, and yeah, I think they had an idea of what was going on, so they
Yeah.
didn't want to be bothered, But it's okay. Uh, Tim, tell me, dude, just what does your family think about this? How do they feel about you being a paranormal investigator and you going out, checking out all the haunted places, knowing that there's a slight risk of you actually bringing something, so having something attached to you and you bringing it home? How do they feel about that?
I mean, they're pretty supportive. My kids actually have spoken to my spirit guide and actually have kind of figured out who their spirits guides are as well. And so they were into it, and they were into talking to my spirit guide back in Ohio. And so my spirit guide, her name is, she goes by Rat. And she is about 16 when she passed, and she loved playing with the girls and talking with the girls and my daughters, and so they loved it and getting to know my spirit guide. And actually, her brother is one of my daughter's spirit guides as well. And as you see, if you can look in the back while I'm talking about this, the K2 is going off. And I don't know if she's here with me on this, but every time I talk about this, she chimes in on the K2. Yeah, my kids are very supportive. I didn't tell my mom at first, but then I did tell her because her sister, my aunt, passed away, and at the hospital where she passed away at, the family was there, and after she passed, we waited a little bit, and then we left. As we left, I felt a strong presence, and I believe it was my aunt, walk with us all the way up to the elevator. And then as soon as we got into the elevator, she stayed back. She didn't come with us. And so I did tell my mom that. And then as time went on, she knew about my investigations that I was doing, and she was kind of leery on it, but she still does support me. She's like, I don't know about that stuff and whatnot, but she still supports me and supports what I do. And then I even post some of my stuff, so she gets a feel of what I witness and everything. And of course, my brother's part of the team, so he definitely supports it as well. Where it actually, I never knew any of his stories until I opened myself up and let him know what I was doing, and then he opened himself up to me on it, and then we brought him on the team as well. So and one of my daughters, she's a strong. I don't want to say portal, but I like having her around because I get a lot more communication with spirits and everything. They connect more with her, but yeah, they're all supportive. So it definitely makes it a lot easier for me, where I don't have to hide or anything. Not that I would, but this has grown to be a passion of mine to, as I stated before, to find the communication, to find the stories and everything like that. So with that support, it definitely helps.
Okay, cool. Now, we're a couple minutes ago, we were talking about equipment, all the, equipment that you guys have. Um, there are different levels. From what I was told, there are different levels of paranormal investigators that have different types of equipment and all that stuff. Uh, you got the paranormal investigators that are up here, that have the $3,100 equipment, the $500 SLS camera, and all that stuff. Um, how much money are you willing to spend to achieve your goals in the paranormal?
I mean, it's really not about a money thing. So here, I'll give you an example. I do photography as well. So you get a lot of photographers that buy all this equipment to make all these images and everything. But you know what? You can buy a SLR camera. You could use a cell phone. You can get the same images that you spend $5,000 on. It's not about the amount of equipment or how much you spend on the equipment, and especially in this field, it's about how open you are and how willing you are to be open to having this energy or these energies communicate with you and for you to communicate with them. I can walk around with a voice recorder all day and pick up a ton of EVPs, whereas another team buys $1,000 cameras and all this other junk, and they don't catch anything. So now you've spent all this money, but it's not a money thing. It's about your dedication, your openness, and if you're willing to let this energy and these spirits come into your world and speak with you and tell you their story. You can't really put a price on that.
Right. I definitely agree with you on that. Do you watch TV a lot?
I don't. I don't like TV.
You don't like TV? How about in your younger days? Did you watch any of the paranormal shows that were out there? Tabs, Ghost Adventures, Dead Files?
No, I think I may have watched Taps a few times, but there are some good shows out there, and I've been approached by people that, hey, I watched this show. Hey, I watched this show. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But it's some of them are just out there to make it Hollywood and to exaggerate what is actually happening and what the purpose of these investigations should be. I'm not saying that they're not catching anything. I'm saying some of them are exaggerating what is happening. So
fibbing. Some of them just fibs. I mean, it's Sunday and I don't want to go into the raw and uncut of this podcast, but some of them are just full of crap. I mean, let's just be blunt with it.
I was trying to keep it kosher, but
no, man. I mean, we can go raw and uncut. I mean, I try not to go raw, but every now and then you just got to put a little something on it. You know what I'm saying? I've Tapped really pissed me off. I quit watching them like in the 5th season. For number one, they started doing a lot of editing and a lot of BS bullshit with their editing. And plus, I didn't like the way they did Brian, one of the original members on that Taps team. I think they set him up for failure, on that show. But other people have different opinions on that. But I just tell people how it is, and but it's definitely a ratings thing. It's a rating thing. And once they start, ratings start going down, the TV shows start going down. So producer was like, hey, what can we do to get our views, our following back up, all that other BS. And they were like, well, let's go ahead and start editing our videos, because you can, I mean, me personally, I've been probably to 100, maybe 150 locations. And I can honestly say, out of 150 locations, I probably caught evidence probably in 20 of them.
Yeah.
20 of them. But for these guys to go in some of these locations and catch something every time, I'm like, no, dude, come on, man. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, all you have to do is practice your shocked face, and you'll be good to go. You'll be, and then you'll get your ratings. I mean,
yeah, there you go, man. You are absolutely correct with that. I mean, because I think everybody has one of those faces. You know what I'm saying? Everybody on the planet had one of those faces. Hey,
yep.
all the years you were in, Ohio, like I said, you moved down to Texas. You spent most of your investigating up there. Have you ever been punched, scratched, hit, kicked? Just putting hands on you.
I have not. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm going to take it as a good thing.
It's a good
thing. But we were working with a couple, me and my team member, Tanya. We went to Madison Seminary, and this couple wanted to come along with us. They overheard us talking to somebody else, and they were like, you guys seem like you know what you're doing. They're like, this is new to us. Can we tag along with you? I said, yeah, that's fine. You can tag along and everything. And we actually connected the guy with his spirit guide. His spirit guide was trying to connect with him all night. And he actually one time got scratched on the back of his neck, and we looked, and there was red scratch marks. Nobody was behind him. He had red scratch marks on his neck and everything. That's the closest that I've been to somebody that something's happened physically to them. But she was trying to get his attention.
Wow, that's oof. I don't know who my spirit guide is, but he or she need to hang around me more often. Maybe he can keep me out of some trouble. I have a nature of getting into. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I do know that, I think everybody do have a spirit guide. It's weird how that works. I'm not for sure how it works. But when you guys, especially back in Ohio, what exactly do you do to prepare yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally for a investigation?
Meditation and just making sure you have a clear mind, an open mind, and just letting when we get onto the location, letting the spirits know we're not here to interrupt their lives. We're not there to cause them any harm. We want to communicate with them, and that we only want to speak with positive and loving beings. And so that kind of deters. It doesn't like totally get rid of any of the negative spirits or energy, but it kind of deters some of it, and letting them know, hey, we're not here to try to do any weird stuff. We're here to communicate. We want to hear your story and things like that. And so we openly let them know why we're there. And
right.
So we just, before we just clear our mind, we try to do meditation and just try to go in there with an open mind and positivity.
Okay. I've seen myself, because I really don't like the music today. I really think you can't really understand it, especially from my era. I'm 80s, 70s. But one thing I do like about music today is all the ambience music that is out now, where you can, sit on the couch, lay back, meditate, and clear your mind so you can have, like you say, you can have a clear understanding on what's about to go down. I see myself listening to Pirates of the Caribbean, Star Wars, especially some of the old Star Wars movies that came out. Uh, Actually, what is that movie with Mel Gibson? Braveheart. I mean, so I see myself, listening to a lot of ambience just to get your head right. Because to be honest with you, what we do, most people think it's fun, but it can be very dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you come across something that really don't want to be messed with.
Yeah.
I mean, you can try to communicate with it. You can go in having an open mind. But if it's hostile, if it was hostile during while it was living, it's gonna be hostile. When it's dead or whenever
Oh yeah.
as it is. So I mean, you got some very unfriendly entities or ghosts running around who really don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, 'cause people ask me, like, "Hey, do you get paid for this?" I'm like, "No, dude, I do it because I love it. I have a passion for it. My wife thinks I'm crazy. My kids think I'm nuts. But you know what? Until you actually go on an investigation with me, you would never understand.
Yeah.
On what exactly that we're trying to achieve here. But with enough said, dude, I mean, you as a paranormal investigator, uh, there's a lot of criticism. People criticize us all the time, thinking that some of the stuff that we put out is fake, and like I tell some people, dude, this is not Hollywood. What we put out on YouTube, that shit is uncut, and it's raw and it's real. So if
Yeah.
somebody's putting something out, I can almost guarantee you that it's not edited. You know what I'm saying? So what we do is it's hard. It's long work because number one, we're up wee hours of the night, trying to find the next location to investigate. So we're actually putting a lot of work into this. You know what I'm saying? And most likely, it's always the lead investigator that's up wee hours of the night. The camera techs, the other members, those guys are shit. They're asleep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And trust me, I know mines are shit because I'm the one that's up. I'm like, well, man, maybe we can do this next week. Because number one, I work late. I get off late, so it takes a little bit of time for my body to wind down.
Yeah.
Have you ever had anything attach itself to you that you know of?
Well, like that time that I told you about, that experience of the energy coming through me and then me waking up the next morning, I think that did attach itself to me. But then it was gone. I didn't have any other experience, but I did have a spirit attached to me at Medicine Seminary. And we believe she was a nurse. Her name was Rachel, or is Rachel. I apologize. Her name is Rachel. And she liked to mess with me. And I don't know what it was about me that she attached so quickly, but we were using dowsing rods where she was mainly at. And so my partner Tanya, she would hold the dowsing rods and they would be straight. And I stood on the right of her, and this dowsing rod just went and hit me in my left shoulder while the other one stayed straight. And it was the weirdest thing. And so we found out her name was Rachel. And she did it again when we took my daughter. It was me, Tanya, and my daughter. We went to Madison Seminary. And because my daughter was kind of leery of it first with the ghost hunts. And so she wanted to experience it. And sure enough, when she experienced what we experienced, she was like, oh my God, this stuff is real. And so, but it did the same thing. We had her hold the dowsing rods, was straight, and I was on her right-hand side. That dowsing rod hit me in my left shoulder again, and we knew it was Rachel. So I asked my friend after we came home and everything, I said, do you think that she came home with me? And she's like, I think she did. She's a medium, so she can sense it more than I can. And so I tested it. And so in the morning, I was getting ready for work. And I said, Rachel, if you're with me, give me a sign and let me know that you're with me. So my car has that screen, the touch screen. So you can play the music or whatever, or when you back up, it has the backup camera. When I started up my car, that screen was all black. It never did that before. When I was getting ready to go for work, my lights turned on, the car turned on. It wasn't my battery. The screen was black. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put it in reverse and see if my camera turns on. I put it in reverse. It was all black.
Wow.
So then I started to think, I'm like, just an hour ago, I asked if Rachel could give me a sign. And so then I turned my car off and I turned it back on. Everything was fine.
Weird.
And that's the only time that has done that.
Okay. Wow. That's something else. Let's talk about these dowsing rods for a minute. You know, my team has them, but we have been so unsuccessful when it comes to using them. Now, in my theory, I always thought that you would have to be gifted to actually use those, just like the pendulums. That's just something I always thought, that you would have to be, you know, either a medium or something that's someone that's gifted to actually use those. What do you think?
You have to be open, and being open allows you to communicate various ways. So I originally started with communicating with a Ouija board. And I know a lot of people's opinions, oh my God, a Ouija board. Oh no, don't talk to him. It's another communication tool. That's the first thing that I've used. The second was a pendulum. And I taught my spirit guide to speak with me through the pendulum. Then my next communication, I taught her to talk through the K2s right behind me. And the dowsing rods we do use, you just have to have that open communication to where you have to start off by pretty much asking the spirit, hey, can you show me yes? And whether their yes is spreading them apart or crossing over, giving them that option. Don't tell them what yes is. Don't tell them what no is. You give them that option to say, okay, can you show me your yes? Can you show me your no? That gives them that openness and that opportunity to speak with them. Using these different communication tools, I don't think you necessarily have to be 100% gifted. You just got to be open and willing to, I guess, get the answers that you may expect or may not expect.
Okay.
So I would say with your team, keep practicing with them. What do you guys use now? Do you guys use a spirit box or do you guys use the pendulum? What do you guys use?
Actually, we have, we got so many things. We got a radiation detector. We have EMF readers. I mean, there's so many things that we have. We got balls. We've got Man, I couldn't tell you. There's so I got like 30 cases of just stuff that we use that we've actually, been successful with. So we really just don't focus on one thing, but we have multiple things that we actually use. Motion lights, it's just hell. I would have to open up my damn suitcase to even show you how much stuff we got.
So what for you personally, what do you use to communicate? Do you use a pendulum, or what do you use to communicate?
Actually, just speaking to them, and and just like you said, being open mind. Most of the times, I'm the one behind the camera, but speaking to them, audio, video recorders, uh, cameras. It's just a large. But we have been more successful with with the ghost balls, the balls. That's where we
Okay.
mostly have our. With these dowsing rounds, we just got them. I'd say a couple of weeks ago, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, so it's something that we're really not focused on yet. But eventually, I would like to get there and actually start using them.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would suggest just from my experience, get a pendulum or practice more with the dowsing rods, and then you'll get more communication, possibly more communication, to where they know that you have a tool that you can use. Because with just talking, it may be a little bit more difficult to try to catch something. With dowsing rods and with a pendulum, it may be a little bit easier for them to
yeah,
communicate with you and give you yes or no answers, or different things. Like my spirit guide, actually, with a pendulum, she found a game that she likes to do. She likes to twirl it around in a circle really fast, and she likes to compete with other spirits with it. And so it's kind of she made it into a game and also communicating with me. So it's kind of fun.
yeah. Right now we're trying. I'm trying to. I don't know if you remember the Simon Says game where it punches. I mean, if you actually touch it, it lights up. You go from
Yeah, yeah.
red, 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 red. We're actually trying to figure out how we're able to communicate with that device with the paranormal. So far, I think we've probably taken out maybe twice, and we've been successful with it. Most people don't think about that little game. Well, you know what? I'm being honest with you. Most people probably weren't even live when that game came out. You know what I'm saying? Especially these youngsters today. So they probably don't know much about it. But just having a game and sitting there playing with it, and having somebody come on and sit back and have somebody press that button and it actually lights up red, and doing communication like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll be able to tweak it where we're actually able to have uh, actual communications with it. But right now, it's just basically it's in the trial phases of it. Hopefully, we can actually get something going there with that. But dude,
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if it keeps going.
yeah, I mean, I would too. It'd be very, very interesting. Uh, all right, Mr. Cruz, I have a bucket list. You have a bucket list?
I don't have a bucket list.
What? Every man should have a bucket list, man. Every man. Okay, put it like this. If there's one place that you want to investigate on this planet, where would it be? Or someone that you want to investigate with, who would it be?
The one place that, as of right now, I would want to investigate is there's actually two places, but they're connected. So either Neverland Ranch or Michael Jackson's, where he's buried, or where his coffin's at.
You want to go to Neverland's Ranch? Okay. That's the first. I never thought about that. So you talking about Neverland, where Michael Jackson and all the horses and the monkeys and
Yep.
wow. I thought
Or actually, or actually his last place in I believe it was Los Angeles. That would be a place as well.
Very interesting. Uh, there's a guy named what was his name? Well-known paranormal investigator. That he's YouTube bound, so that's all he does is YouTube. He went to Vegas where what's the name got shot on that corner. Tupac. When Tupac got shot on that corner, and he actually had an EVP session with supposedly Tupac on that corner. It was during the day, so I don't know how accurate it really was, but plus he had to kept moving around the corner because every time he come to that light where Tupac got shot at, cars was in the back of it, so he had kept moving around just to get to that spot, and that was it was pretty interesting on how he was able to communicate with Tupac.
Yeah. And I think I know who you're talking about. I think I watched it because he went on the sidewalk as well, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and he was driving around in his car too.
Yeah, he did. I'm trying to think of his name. Omar Gosh. Omar.
Yes.
Omar Gosh.
And I believe that's why it made me think of it. I think he did go to Michael Jackson's last place of residence as well.
Yes, he did. He went there at night.
Yeah.
I remember that. And he parked his car at the gate and actually did an EVP session right there at the gate. Yeah. And I think what ran him off was the security guard. I'm not quite sure, but he ended up getting ran off from that place. So he's actually did one of the things that you want on your bucket list. You know,
I watched a few of his stuff, and that's actually where I got the Spirit app for my phone. Is the same one that he uses, and it's actually been working out really well for me.
Okay, cool. Very interesting fellow, I might say.
Yeah.
If he could just stay out of trouble, I think he would be. He's pretty good at what he does now.
He is, yes.
I think he can be even better if he just stop having all the negative people follow him, and he, I don't know, dude, that guy's he just seems to get in trouble everywhere he goes, but my bucket list would be Normandy Beach. If you're a big history buff, that was the landing spot for World War II, for the invasion of Germany, the invasion of Europe, France, and everything else that led. From that starting point, everything went into Germany. So
yeah.
You can imagine how many people died that first came off that boat with all those gun machines, those gun turrets that was aiming right at them the minute they dropped. Yeah. So I mean, right now, from what I heard, it is a national monument or beach or something. So you can only go on it on certain times. And besides, I don't think they even got all the landmines out. There's still landmines over there where the Germans laid millions of landmines. So
you better watch out then.
Oh, it will blow you up. Yep. So you definitely gotta watch. But that would be one of my places, man. I would love to go check out. Any place in the States. It would have to be. You remember when COVID hit? There was New York City was one of the places that was ground zero for that. Millions, thousands, if not millions of people died because of COVID in New York. There is an island called Island of the Dead in the middle of New York, or Manhattan, one of those islands. And anyway, it used to be an insane asylum that would bring the people on, and some of the people would never leave. So what they do once they died, they would bury them on that island. Well, the island shut down, and New York, the mayor was like, "Well, where am I to put all these people that their families are not claiming the body? Nobody's claiming the bodies." So what they did is they went and got a couple of prisoners, which is free labor, and they start hauling bodies. I mean, bargs and bargs and bargs of bodies, put them in wooden crates, and take them to this island. And no matter what it is, Tim, babies, elderly, young, old, it really don't matter. They would just dig a big old hole, and just stack them up, and just cover them up. They didn't care. 100 yards wide, 6 feet deep. Can you imagine how many bodies you can put on a 100-yard wide field? I mean, 100-yard field, 6 feet wide. Can you imagine?
That's crazy. That's
a lot of bodies.
It is, yes.
And so they were doing that. And now, since COVID is over with up there, that place is trying to become a tourist attraction for the paranormal. But NYPD is not allowing people to go on there because of bad conditionings. You can fall into a hole, but you got to realize back then they just stacked them up and buried them up. I mean, that was really no right way of these guys actually burying somebody. Yeah. So, I mean, the potential is there for you to actually fall into something. But with enough, but with all those bodies and sitting on an insane asylum anyway, can you imagine? I mean, all the paranormal activity that goes on that place, during the day, during the night. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's crazy. So I would love to go check that place out, man. And just, I don't care if it's just for an hour. Just go check it out.
Yeah.
You would be shocked on that. But anyway, Mr. Cruz, I'll tell you what, bro. You come to Texas, you came to the right place, because we were talking about, before the podcast started, dude, you cannot go wrong in Texas as far as finding a place to investigate, because it's everywhere. I mean, it is everywhere. If you go to San Antonio, you're dealing with the Texas American Revolution. I mean, there's forests, fields down there that are haunted just because of that. You know what I'm saying? You go to East Texas, you got people that are dying in oil wells and haunted places where mass suicides and death. It's just all over the place. Then you go out west, you're dealing with cowboys, Indians, and all that stuff. So no matter where you go, bro, you're gonna run into something paranormal. Fort Worth. If I were you, I would go investigate the stockyards, because the stockyards.
Oh yeah.
The stockyards were there way before that city, Fort Worth, was probably even built. You know what I'm saying? They just probably a little modernized it, the stockyard. But the stockyards has been there for a very long time, and I'm pretty sure there's death there. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just get out and just go investigate. And you know what? To be honest with you, you're from Ohio. I don't know if they have a spaghetti warehouse up there. No, but it seems like no matter what city a spaghetti warehouse is in, it seems to be haunted. I kid you not. I had a podcast with the Ghostly Realm yesterday afternoon, and they were just talking about the spaghetti warehouse, how haunted it is. And you know what? My mouth dropped, because the spaghetti warehouse here in Austin, people say the same thing. I mean, can't be just a coincidence.
Wow. I'll have to check that out then.
Yeah, you got to check that place out, bro. I mean, I don't know if they got one in Fort Worth, but definitely check it out. Man, I really don't know where even to tell you to begin up there, dude. You know, Mineral Wells,
Yeah.
the old fort, all those. I mean, you got to pay to get in. I'm the type of guy is there's so much history here that I shouldn't have to pay to investigate. You know, if something wants me to investigate it, I'll investigate it. You know, but I really don't like paying where 100 people, where there's 100 investigators has been already. My motto is, hey, you know, what about the places that nobody's been to? No investigators ever set foot on. Let's go investigate those places first. I mean, what does it seem like to me is I'm going into a place, I'm spending $400 or $500 on an investigation. I understand, you know, the money is for the upkeep for the facilities, you know, but why am I going to go to a place where 1,000,001 investigators has been and you're going to get the same results as those 1,000,001 investigators, you know? So me, I'm like, well, let's go somewhere else, man, where nobody's been. You know, I can drive down 35 right now, and this little old bitty cemetery is sitting on the side of the road. It can have two, Mr. Cruz, it can have two. I mean, just two burials on there. But you know what? Those two burials, it might be one or two of the most haunted cemeteries I've been into. It can have just two.
Yeah.
You know, but you know what? Like you said there, if these people want to speak, they're gonna speak. You know, and that's all it takes.
And you can't force it either. I mean,
you can't. You know,
but then at the same time, you never know until you actually go there and try it. And
yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised just because it only has, you know, cemetery only has two in there. That don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've seen cemeteries where, and I've seen places where it's only two burials. Okay, there are only two people in the cemetery. Don't mean nothing to me. Hell, I'll stop for a visit and introduce myself. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Well, that was the same thing with the Lost Cemetery of Infants out in Arlington. At first, I was like, well, how am I going to talk to infants? They don't even know how to talk. How am I going to communicate with these infants? I don't know. But we actually we got a cool EVP, and then we actually got a lot of our K2 was going off in this one section where infant 1 and infant 2 were buried at. They were very close together. And I mean, we got a lot of activity in that corner. So, I mean, you never know because you have other spirits that are there, or like I said before, you have spirits passing through that you can connect with as well. So you never know what you're going to get from an area or a location.
Yeah. And you know what? You're right, because I remember my very first investigation night. We went to a cemetery in Austin. And it was a cemetery they try to keep it, you know, kids over here, adults over here. They try to keep it separate between the two. And so we set up a stationary camera in the kids area and just let it go. And dude, and when I got back and reviewed the video of that, my mouth dropped. I'm serious. My mouth dropped. The only thing is, I was so freaking cheap. I was using iPads for cameras. That's the biggest mistake I ever did as being in a paranormal investigator, using those damn iPads for cameras. Because at the time, I could only afford 2 cameras, but I had 2 iPads. So I went and got the braces, stacked them up, put them in the corner in the cemetery, and start recording them. They did a good job. It's just that I couldn't get the damn footage off the damn iPads.
Yeah.
iPad 1, iPad 2. You know, I can show the video to people, but I wasn't able to upload it. No matter how I cut it, I can cut it at maybe 3 or 4 second intervals, and it still wouldn't download. You know, but anyway, while we were there, dude, the kids' cemetery came alive. I kid you not, man. It seemed like every kid in that cemetery came out to play because I had orbs bouncing all over the place. I've had red orbs going from the left screen to the right screen. I mean, I had people like orbs blinking off and on, and I'm like, "What the hell, dude?" And to me, it seemed like the kids were out there playing. It
Yeah.
seemed like they were just playing, man.
It's very possible where they were excited to have people there and they wanted to play with you guys, or
Yeah.
they wanted you to play with them. And that could have sparked up that energy to try to get your guys' attention.
Yeah. And dude, it's been on my mind for so much. I think I'm going to go back there and actually do another investigation. It's not the biggest cemetery. It holds maybe 1,900 people. No, 3,600 people. And and believe it or not, that's the second oldest cemetery in Austin and the third creepiest cemetery in Central Texas. So they say by the Austin American Statesman. Now, I don't know how true that is. I don't know how far back those records go to actually prove that.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to go back and definitely going to check that out. But this time, I'm coming prepared because I got everything I need to actually investigate that cemetery the right way and actually get audio, video of actually what was going on in that particular corner of that cemetery. So I think I'm gonna go back, man. You want to come along?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm always down to collab with other investigators, but that does sound interesting, and now you piqued my interest to try to get down there.
Yeah, dude, it's very interesting. Anytime you want to come to Central Texas, dude, I can show you some amazing places. Slave plantations, haunted freaking river walks where people have died, and people have sat there and actually seen ghosts walking up and down the damn street, and all this is in the middle of downtown Austin. You know, it's just so crazy.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's collab and let's try to get some good stuff.
Oh, definitely, dude. I'm always up. My team is always up to that. But some of the places, see, the thing about Austin is never believe the newspaper. Because number one, the Driscoll Hotel, I don't know if you ever heard of it. A big X. I X'd it out because it wasn't nothing going on. The state capitol, and we know what kind of BS goes on there. BS. You know, anytime it comes to politics, just BS. You know, the one place I have not checked out is the old Seahome power plant. I definitely need to get over there and check that place out because a couple of workers did die on that. I would love to check out, dude. Matter of fact, I just thought about that.
And that's in Austin too, right?
Yeah, that's in Austin. I mean, it's not in the best neighborhoods. You might want to carry a stick or something, but we will definitely get you there safe and back. You know what I'm saying?
So we don't have to worry about spirits hitting us. We have to worry about other.
Yeah, the living. What about the living getting you? You know what I'm saying? Hey, Mr. Cruz, tell the world how to get a hold of you, bro.
All right. So all of the social media is pretty much the same. You can look us up on YouTube. It is TNT Ghost Hunters. We have Instagram. We also have a what is that? TikTok. It's all at TNT Ghost Hunters. And if you do want to email us, if you guys have a location that you would like us to come out and investigate, either residential or commercial, you can email us at tntghosthunts@gmail.com. We're happy to come out and investigate, but that is the main thing. And actually on Facebook as well, TNT Ghost Hunters. So pretty much everything, you can find us with TNT Ghost Hunters.
Cool, dude. You know what? It has been a pleasure talking to you. And tell your friend up in Ohio the next time that we have a podcast, she has to be a part of it.
I know.
I mean, yeah, she has to be a part, man. I would love to hear some of her stories and and some of her things. She's a medium, so I know she has some good things.
Yeah, she's got some good stuff. And we actually, real quick, one time we were at this convention and there was a medium there, and he was talking in front of a crowd, and that was the first time that we both like experienced something at the same exact time. We just felt overwhelmed in this room. There was so much energy, and we both had to walk out because it was just so much around us and everything. And we don't know if they were connecting with us and they knew that we were there, but it was a lot for us to take in. So we actually had to get out of that. So that was the first time that we actually experienced something together. So it was interesting.
Well, I hope it was, when you mean energy, I hope, there's positive, negative. I hope it was a bunch of positive energy that was.
Yeah, it was just a lot. It felt like the whole room was filled.
Wow. I could just imagine feeling that, dude. You feel like Superman.
It takes a lot out of you. When we're feeling it, when I'm feeling it, it takes a lot of energy out of you because you're opening yourself up to these spirits and this energy, and it drains you.
Oh yeah, trust me, man. I know. I came back from an investigation one day, and I've never felt that before. But dude, I just had this overwhelming. I'm like, dude, I am so tired.
Yeah,
what is wrong with me? And I'm like, oh God, it felt like you just want to just catch a deep breath and just try to pull things together, but you can't. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
All right, brother. You know what? We all have to work in the morning, and I know you probably do. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Well, I appreciate you having me and
no problem.
Letting me share our stories and our views and everything. So I definitely appreciate your time and having me.
No problem, dude. Hey, whenever you want to do this joint investigation, let me know. I will open you, Central Texas, with open arms, and we will show you, give you the best that Central Texas have to offer.
Absolutely.
Food-wise, investigation-wise, beer-wise, because we have like maybe 15 different breweries just in Central Texas alone, and you can basically go in and just sample beer after beer after beer. You don't even have to pay for it. You just sample it, go to the next one, sample it, go to the next one, sample it, so you can get drunk free.
Well, that's going to have to be another time of an investigation or after, because we can't be going into an investigation drunk, because we'll be seeing a whole bunch of junk.
Definitely after, man. Definitely after. That'll give us a chance to, tell stories on that night, or something that you saw, or something you thought you saw. And hopefully, hey, we could even go by the spaghetti warehouse.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And hopefully we'll be able to catch something there. So there's one place that I know that I've been trying to get into, which every city has, is an old state theater. I'm pretty sure they got them on every corner up in Ohio. A States Theater or a Paramount Theater or some kind of place where been around since the 1900s, and there's definitely something paranormal going on in that place. But Austin is very conservative. Either you do believe or either you don't believe. You got the right or you got the left. Most of this old money, that people don't believe, is on the left, and they're not going to let you get in that place unless you know somebody, unless you want to spend a shitload of money to get in there. But but that's another story. But you know what, Mr. Cruz, I appreciate you coming on. I really enjoyed talking to you. Tell the girls I said Uncle Terry said hello, and I can't wait to get them down here to, show them Central Texas. It'll probably take you about 6 hours with all the driving and all the traffic and everything. But you know what? The minute you want to make this happen, just reach out to me, bro, and we can do this. Trust me, I have no problem at all.
Yeah, we'll definitely make it happen. And before we go, I did notice my K2 is going off a little bit, so I do want to thank the spirits that were here as well, setting off the K2 and participating in the interview as well. So,
hey, let me thank him also. Thank you, spirits. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hey, you have yourself a good night, bro. And hey, I'm looking forward to hearing from you again.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You have yourself a good night now.
Thank you. You too.
Yes, sir. Have a good night. All right. That's been, hey guys, TNT Paranormal from COWTOWN, Fort Worth, Texas. Those of you who don't know what COWTOWN is, that is Fort Worth, Texas. Just moved in 4 months ago from Ohio. Seemed like he's a pretty good, knowledgeable individual. He's well in tune with the paranormal. He is looking for members. So you guys, any of you guys up in the Fort Worth, Dallas Metroplex, please reach out to this guy if you want to be able to talk to him or possible joining his organization. He seems like he'll be a good leader. So please go check him out, guys. Please go check him out. Just let you guys know, the drawing for the NSPS TV Texas Four Corners Roundtable is actually coming up Saturday. So you guys, please, if you have not get in contact with me, please go ahead and do that so I can get you guys on the podcast. The podcast is Saturday. The drawing is Saturday. So I urge you guys to get in contact with me so I can get you guys on board. It seems like South Texas, West Texas, North Texas, you guys are doing quite well. East Texas, we need some work to do. So if there's any paranormal investigators out there in East Texas that wants to come on, please let me know. Please contact me at NSPS TV Paranormal or NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast, Raw and Uncut. You guys know what to do. So in the meantime, you know what I'm about. Peace.